Okay, so our third round pick, the pick that we didn't trade, the 100th pick in the draft, was none other only than Charlotte native Will Grier, quarterback from West Virginia. You guys had some comments last week regarding if a quarterback is picked in the first 3 rounds. How do you guys feel? Is Cam in trouble? What's going on?
Vince, please go first.
Okay. So I didn't watch day 2 of the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
I was out. I don't remember what I was doing. I just know that I was out and about. And I was driving, and I got the notification that with the 100 pick in the NFL draft,
you gonna be okay?
Will Grier. And the good thing is about cars, the floors, they're soft. They're soft. I threw my phone. I legitimately threw my phone at this guy.
Wow.
And it wasn't like a hard throw. It was just more like, I was like, I don't need this in my life right now. But during last week's episode, I think we were all in agreement that you don't take Will Grier on day 1. Now, let me backtrack on that, because last week I was saying that you don't take a quarterback because you have Cam Newton on day 1. I was under the assumption that day 1 was rounds 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And I don't know when they made the change and whatnot, but they only did round 1 on day 1. Then they did 2 and 3 on day 2. Even with that, I don't agree with it, even with him going in the 3rd round, because personally, I actually see Will Grier as a solid 2nd round, possible late 1st round talent. I think Will Grier can actually go somewhere and start. And for us to get a starter quality quarterback in the 3rd round with a Cam Newton talent as our starting quarterback right now, unless you plan on developing him over the next 1 or 2 years and using him as trade bait for something bigger, I think it was a waste of a draft pick. Now, with that being said, you guys remember that I had a lot to say about Skip Bayless a couple weeks ago when he took a shot at Michael Jordan. Skip Bayless tweeted about their draft pick, and let's just say that we're friends now. Okay, we're friends.
All is forgiven.
Yeah, we're good. We're great.
Okay.
And for those,
hey, I hate to say this, but you agree with Skip.
Hey,
Skip is wrong a lot.
and you know, and if that's the sword that I fall on, I'm willing to take that.
Gotcha.
But for everyone that's listening, I'm going to read off the tweet that Skip said, and then I'm going to let Jamal take over from there. Okay. So Skip basically said that. Now, first off, he said that Carolina got the steal of the draft with Will Grier, who would be much better than Daniel Jones. I think we can actually we can agree with that. Yeah. And then he said, but then he came back and said, but Cam Newton is only 29. So unless the Panthers think Cam is going to have a more and more injury problems, he said he don't get it. And it was like, Grier's no long-term backup. He's the 2nd best quarterback in the draft. Now, I don't agree with everything that he put in that tweet, but I agree with the overall message that because of the talent that Will Grier is, we shouldn't have drafted him because you basically have a starter quarterback sitting behind your starting quarterback.
Gotcha.
You know? So now I'll stop there and see what Jamal got to say.
So remember I was saying that this whole draft felt like Groundhog's Day? I'm going to take y'all back a few years ago. I was sitting in the barbershop looking at the 2nd round of the draft, 2000, maybe 8, 9, I don't remember exact year. And said with the whatever pick, the Panthers picked Jimmy Clausen. And at the time I said, okay, I didn't think anything of it. Fast forward to Saturday, with the whatever 100th pick, the Panthers picked Will Grier. Luckily, I have a carpet in my house, and I don't have wood grain floors. Because I did the same thing Vince did. I just looked at my phone, and I said a cuss word, and I just threw the phone on the floor. You ever, like with any team you root for, you ever, like when the pick is come up, and you just know, like you are 100% sure who they're going to pick. I knew they were going to pick Will Grier. It was like so certain.
It was known.
I just like when, like, I knew the Hornets were going to pick Frank Kaminsky. I knew it. Before I walked into the arena, I said, they're picking Frank Kaminsky tonight. Oh, I knew I knew the Panthers were going to pick Will Grier Saturday. Now, how I feel about the pick. I don't agree with it, only because the third round could have covered so many other needs that this team has. You still need more depth on offensive line. Yeah, you just drafted Greg Little. You still need more pass rushers. You still need to basically find a replacement for Thomas Davis, which they got to in the fourth round. Mm-hmm. But again, goes back to that best player available. Was Will Grier the best player available at that pick? And you already have your franchise quarterback in place. Are you that concerned with his shoulder that you pick a quarterback at that pick? There must be some real concern with Cam's shoulder. And let me say this, I don't feel like anybody's going to say this, but I'll say it if nobody else does. This feels like meddling on David Tepper's part. It feels like David Tepper.
I agree. I completely agree with that. But
it feels like it.
But let me back up just a tad, because you mentioned the whole, if they believe that Cam Newton will be injured or hasn't fully you mentioned that whole spiel. Okay, now everyone, this fan base likes to compare Cam Newton to is Andrew Luck, because Andrew Luck possibly was going to find himself in Carolina and all that good stuff. So I'm going to go back and use the Andrew Luck analogy here. Remember, Andrew Luck had a similar shoulder injury to what Cam Newton is going through right now, and as well as surgery as well. Here's what Indianapolis did. They sat Andrew Luck for an entire year, because I've always said that Cam Newton being your franchise quarterback, you need to treat him with the utmost respect. And by drafting Will Grier, I feel like it's disrespect to your all-pro quarterback, your all-NFL quarterback. And what Indianapolis did, they did not draft a quarterback that year that Andrew Luck was hurt, that he sat out. They traded for another quarterback, and if you guys remember, they got Jacoby Brissett out of New England.
Right.
So he comes in, he plays that 1 year, and Andrew Luck comes back the next year. It would have made more than enough sense, in my opinion, for Carolina to have done the same. Now, I know both of our backup QBs that we have right now, they've dealt with some injuries as well. So if you trade for a quarterback, that in my opinion would make perfect sense. So just kind of go with the season wherever it goes. But again, I can't say this enough. To draft a quarterback in the third round.
I got a question. So, would you guys would have been more comfortable with Grier at the 100th pick if we didn't make that trade with Seattle and gave up the extra third rounder we had? Would you have been more comfortable? Or would have been easier to swallow?
I would have accepted a little more if we had an extra third round pick.
Gotcha.
It would have been a little easier to swallow. But I also want to say this, man. I'm simply just not as high on him as everybody else is, man. He played in the Big 12, and, man, dude, I could pass for 500 yards in the Big 12, man. He played against these scrub defenses all year. His completion percentage, look, man, that spread offense that they run against these scrub teams, he better his completion percentage better had been 60+%, because anything else is just completely unacceptable. I've seen Will Grier play against some SEC teams, Florida, for example, and I'm completely just he looked like Jimmy Clausen when he first got here. I saw a Will Grier game when he threw 4 interceptions against, God, I can't remember the team, but it was some team who had a legitimate defense. And the knock on Will Grier by NFL experts is you put a little bit of heat on him, he quits. That is a big red flag for me. And this offensive line that has so many question marks, it's just not it's alarming to say the least.
Okay.